Hailing from the East, it is your boy D and the Beast 94 here, coming back at you with the first episode of 6 questions. Why 6? Because that's the mark of the beast. Now, unfortunately, I was supposed to do this video Sunday. I got caught up with everything, so I apologize for that. Secondly, I didn't get 6 questions. Right now, I only have 4. So I'm just going to do these 4 questions today. So today's first episode of 6 questions is only going to be 4 questions. I know, stupid. But I want to push it for next Wednesday. So in this video, leave your questions in the comment section down below. And I will pick 6 questions to answer next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, let's get on with the 4 questions that I did receive. So the first question I got is from Gregory Kramer. Who was the most ruthless wrestler you met? I want to say they were ruthless, but just a little bit ignorant or just out of it. Just didn't want to be at that event for what so reason. Probably Alberto Del Rio. He wasn't the most friendliest when I asked him, like, hey, are you going to take out Rey Mysterio's leg again? He was just like, blew me off, like, yeah, But I haven't really had a really bad encounter with a wrestler, so I'm pretty thankful for that. It was cool meeting Brett, even though he really didn't engage with me. He shook my hand, gave me the autograph 8x10. We took the picture, but he didn't really say much. So I'm not really sure if he was happy to be there. Maybe it's Waterbury. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go on to the next question here by the DVD Freak. What is one wrestling event from the past you would attend if you had the chance? Oh, that's that's a good question. Because I didn't attend wrestling shows till late 2008. Prior to that, I had never been to a wrestling show. So from 2008 till now, I've been going to wrestling shows. But if I had a chance to relive one event, there's two. I'm sure there's other events I would have loved to attend, but these two really stand out. One, because I seen this live on pay-per-view, and this was my first pay-per-view I ever paid for, and that was WrestleMania 20. Yeah, that was a groundbreaking moment, And then the fact, after Chris Benoit winning the World Heavyweight Championship, he was sharing the ring with Eddie Guerrero, so that was a very blissful moment there. Just like the card in general, and I'm I'm close to New York, so I'm sure it wouldn't have been no hassle to get there. Probably just getting the tickets probably would have been the hard part. But another pay per view that I probably would have loved to attend was the first One Night Stand for ECW, just to live that nostalgia of ECW because growing up I was just a WWE guy. And obviously, I've gotten older and gotten a lot more wiser when it comes to my selection of wrestling events, wrestling shows, promotions. So, definitely one of those two. Next question here we got from Terry Joe. Not really familiar with you, but thank you for leaving your question. He said, we had 2 HBK versus Razor ladder matches, and they both won one each. Would you have liked to seen a third one done in a ladder match again? But this time for the WWF Championship in '96, if Razor would to stay to get the ultimate win. Okay, so I did read this question a couple times back to myself, and I've gotten a pretty big analogy here. So, to answer your question, yes, I would have loved to seen a third ladder match, but here's the thing. It should be done at Survivor Series. It should have been done at Survivor Series 96. Same arena where the first ladder match they had against each other took place. Madison Square Garden, New York, Survivor Series 96, WWF Championship, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, instead of Sid. Because that was practically the reason for Sid coming back was, them losing their star power and Brett wasn't around. That's the only reason why they brought Ced back. So, I would have loved to seen Razor get over, become WWF Championship, and basically have him run the same course as Sid Vicious did. Have him lose at the Royal Rumble in Shawn Michaels' hometown, and then have Razor face The Undertaker at WrestleMania 13. That would have been great. So that's the way I would have seen it. I'm not sure about you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below how you would like to see it go down. Between Razor and Shawn. Should it have happened or not? I would have loved to seen it happen. Third time's a charm. Have Razor win the WWF Championship. Same arena that they had their match at WrestleMania 10 would have made a lot of sense. So thank you for that question, Terry. I think that's my favorite question out of all this. No offense to anybody else here, but that was definitely my favorite question. Really got me, thoroughly thinking, critical thinking here. So, last question we have here is from Tim Miller. He said, top 5 favorite wrestlers of the Ruthless Aggression era. Now, I may get a lot of puzzling looks for this first pick, but I'm going to go with The Undertaker, only because this was my favorite version of The Undertaker, which was the big evil, pretty much the big evil Undertaker, as he's already transitioned from the American Badass Undertaker. And this was around the time he won the WWE Championship. He held it for a lengthy amount of time, and he really put a lot of people over during that time, trying to get them to that next spot in their career, like Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, so on and so forth. So that was definitely my favorite version of The Undertaker. No offense to like the Dead Man Undertaker, Ministry Undertaker. That was just my favorite version. And then when it comes to other Ruthless Aggression era superstars, Kurt Angle, not much to say there. He's probably one of the greatest technical wrestlers during that time, along with this guy, Chris Benoit. What more can I say? I grew up with watching Chris Benoit. WrestleMania 20, that was the first WrestleMania. So watching him win that World Heavyweight Championship, that was probably one of my favorite main events of all time. So, and then coming down to the other two Ruthless Aggression superstars, I'd have to go with Eddie and Ray. Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was the first wrestler I enjoyed. That was my first favorite wrestler growing up. So watching him throughout the years, always color coordinated with the masks and his tights, and his high flying ability. He was death-defying. So he definitely, sparked my attention. And, same thing with Eddie Guerrero. I always loved his lying, cheating, and stealing tactics. He was always funny, but he was a great technical wrestler because he could always back it up with his promos. And that's what I've always loved about Eddie. And, it's very unfortunate that 2 out of the 5 I mentioned aren't around anymore. Just goes to show you how old I am. When I was watching them, I was about 10, 11 years old. Here I am at 26. So it's been a long time, but I miss those guys deeply. I definitely don't agree with the actions of Benoit, what he did later in his life, but whatever he was going through, it definitely was a bad circumstance. So, but yeah, these were my questions for the 6 questions video, the debut edition of 6 questions, even though I only answered 4. So, if you want me to keep pushing on this series, leave your questions in the comment section down below, and I will answer them next Wednesday for 6 questions. Why 6? Because that's the mark of the beast. Dan the Beast 94, signing off.